Imagine being torn from your family in the middle of the night, from school, from work, from the mall, not because you committed some heinous crime, but because of where you were born. This is not a dystopian fantasy. This is happening right now in America under Immigration and Customs Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE. Today, I want to persuade you that the current immigration system in the U.S. are causing more harm than good, and we must advocate for humane reform. Whether or not you think immigration policy affects you personally, it does. Immigrants are your classmates, coworkers, friends, and neighbors. When these individuals are living in fear, it affects our whole community. As for credibility, I've researched multiple sources to better understand this issue and have personally seen my community affected by local ICE raids. This evidence coming from this presentation is written by professionals, so whether or not you find me credible, the information itself is grounded in facts. At the end of this speech, the listeners should understand the issue of our current immigration policies, such as discriminatory and deceptive foundations, and the cruel treatment of those in ICE facilities. We will also discuss what we can do individually to improve current conditions. The immigration enforcement system has been built on deception and discrimination. According to CAM and the journal ICE Ruses from Deception to Deportation in 2022, the ICE system has operated through deceptive practices such as misleading immigrants about their rights. For example, in 2005, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency enacted a policy sanctioning its civil ICE agents to use strategic deception, known as ruses, to facilitate community immigration enforcement operations, CAM 2022. Examples such as this one expressed by CAM can explain why trust in law enforcement, such as immigration services, has eroded. Callister and Galbraith in 2019 support that immigration has become increasingly politicized since the first election of Trump, and this article just considered the Trump's first election. If you haven't heard what is currently going on in Los Angeles, let me inform you. Protests have erupted across our country in response to immigration customs in the past month. You may have heard of the No Kings protests aimed towards Trump's fascist tendencies. The state of the protests in Los Angeles prompted Trump to deploy military to allow ICE to safely conduct their studies. Hutchinson, 2025. Amnesty International USA Executive Director Paul O'Brien made a statement on June 9th of 2025, just this past month, that the ICE raids themselves are rooted in discrimination, racial profiling, and the systematic violation of rights. People have to protest these injustices. Crushing that right with military force is antithetical to human rights. These protests taking place in response to Trump and his directed ICE raids caused military backlash and more ICE assaults grounded in discrimination. Deception and discrimination have weaseled themselves into our government and more specifically our immigration services, causing humanitarian issues. Another issue with immigration is what happens once these immigrants are detained. The majority of detainees are put in detention centers that inflict inhumane treatment. Jasmine Gards, a writer at NPR, wrote the article in Recorded Calls, Reports of Overcrowding and Lack of Food at ICE Detention Centers. In this article, she dives into different individuals' experiences in these detention camps. In one instance, more than a dozen detainees, family members, and lawyers describe similar issues, including detainees underfed and in ill health. Guards also address that there have been 9 deaths in ICE detention camps since January, which is on track to be the deadliest year since 2020. These detention camps are beginning to sound a lot like concentration camps. The detainees in these ICE centers are being treated worse than prisoners and are being subjected to cruel conditions. How can we solve this issue? Immigration reform isn't something that can happen overnight, but individuals can make small steps to support this movement. There is no definitive answer to this humanitarian crisis. However, humane approaches to resolving this issue could be peaceful protesting, supporting the reformation of immigration policy, and supporting the existence of sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities are places where local laws tend to protect undocumented immigrants from deportation and prosecution. Unfortunately, the Trump administration would like to withhold any federal funding from these safe havens. According to sanctuary cities can protect people from ICE immigration raids, but they don't actually violate federal law. Silva wrote, at the start of his At the start of his second term, Trump signed 2 executive orders in January and April of 2025, which again state that his administration will withhold federal money from areas within sanctuary policies. 2025. Supporting the existence of these safe havens may provide the last place for immigrants to call home. Letting your voice be heard may be a small step, but multiple people making these small steps of support may lead to big changes. While there is no black and white answer to solve all immigration issues, supporting immigrants, sanctuary cities, and voicing your opposition to ICE is a step in the right direction. As we reach the end of this presentation, let's reflect on the issues and possible solutions we have addressed. To summarize what we have discussed, the immigration system is riddled with deception and discrimination and plagued by human rights violations. We have also discussed possible ways to support immigration reform. Let's stop treating immigrants as criminals and start recognizing them as mothers, fathers, daughters, and sons who deserve dignity and respect like every other human being. Together, we must speak up and fight for an immigration system that protects, not punishes. Thank you.